Here we go for round 2, and maybe I should mulligan this, but I feel in a format that's just not very powerful. I'm going to keep this on the draw. We can use the lapse to hopefully stop his early aggression, and we do have quite a lot of ways to use extra mana in this deck, or to discard the extra lands. So this is already a card where we can use our blue mana to prevent the damage this deals, and I'm just going to do that. It's not the greatest use of my mana, but it certainly helps that his 2-drop doesn't deal any damage. I think I'm just going to continue paying the blue rather than memory lapsing something he drops the turn after, as that prevents the most damage. Okay, he's really ramping up to something. So their memory lapse is certainly weaker than something like Mana Leak, of course. I'm just going to see what it is. I don't think that Parapet is going to be very important for now. Yeah, so he has like a 4/4 Behemoth that gets stronger and stronger. I'm not happy about that because he's just going to get it back next turn, but it would be another 5 damage I take, and I need the time to draw something better than what I have right now. Also to note that we aren't playing against blue, so our island home creatures aren't going to be as effective. But I wouldn't mind a 4-power guy now to block his 4/4. He can't attack with the line because I would just play blue, prevent the damage, and then block. And that's what he realized as well. Okay. A 4/4 that he has to sacrifice unless he returns to forests. That's interesting. Maybe we want the bounce spell. That looks like a reasonable draw. Maybe even just to double block Bull Elephant. Okay. Looks like he doesn't want us to draw from Murfox here this turn, but the lion isn't going to deal damage, so I'm taking this option to get rid of it. Most importantly because I know that he has another fatty I want to get rid of, so having more creatures in play can't hurt. And we actually drew a nice card as well. And now I'm just going to keep open this and this, because I don't know which is going to be more important. It might even be possible that we get him into ordering blockers in a way that allows us to use Parapet to good effect. Don't know how this would look like though, because he can always kill one of our creatures. It's more likely that we just want to use Merfolk's here to draw a card. Okay. It's certainly possible that he has some kind of trick here, but I don't think I can play around much. So what I could do is to try to trade off these two and these two, drawing a card for the seer, and then I won't use this profitably, but I don't see a block that does that anyway. So yeah, let's try it like that. Okay, that's pretty bad. And he's going to kill the lion first and then the seer. So us flashing at parapet would only save the seer. And I don't think that's worth it, so we'd rather draw the card. Would be great to draw into some of our Merfolk traders or the inspiration. It's not like we're dead to this, but it's really difficult to handle. And he got back his 4/4. Oh man, this is not doing anything. Never. Most combat tricks in this format are also enchantments, so it's actually even more difficult to disrupt something. No, he could hit us for 6 with the Behemoth. And it looks like that's what's happening. Yeah, I don't think at this point that we have much to put in its way. 2/2 flying first. Like, no, I can just concede this game. It's over. And what do we have? Let's see. This is actually quite good against these humongous creatures, but still it's not really great. Kind of like Dazzling Beauty and Prismatic Circle. All of these are kind of nice, even though they aren't completely great. Now this still doesn't do anything. Target artifact. Okay, Phantom Wings could be interesting, I guess, because bouncing one of his creatures with a downside is kind of nice. Ray of Command would be awesome. And giving one of our creatures protection from green might actually be a good way to get in on the blocking. So I really don't like Disrupt, and also the Memory Lapse is maybe just not good enough. I don't think that we want Manta Ray, because 3/3 is just not enough. Well, 3/3 and the Traders is pretty good. And we certainly want the Serpent, so even though Manta Ray can't attack, it might just be in our best interest to keep it in. I'm going to try Phantom Wings and Ward of Lights as 2 ways to interact with his board. The bounce isn't the greatest, but we could also just bounce one of our Merfolk traders, I suppose, if necessary, giving us another block in the process. And against his deck, I think we do want to play first. Seeing Ray of Command makes me happy already. even though I don't know if we are going to be able to use it. I expect him to have boarded out his jungle lion, or what it's called. Oh, I think it's... I forgot the name. But against blue you would usually not keep it in. We have the option to keep power sync up, but we already know that he has good 4 and 5 drops in his deck, so it should be better to wait. That's not a knight. When it dies, it gets exiled, and he gets another card back to his hand. Okay. The main problem is that it's a very good blocker for my lion, so don't like to see that. It's possible that I should have played Knight of the Mists here. I don't know how likely it is that he plays a knight of his own. And 2-2 flanking is certainly a better attacker than just a regular 2-2. Maybe we need to use Ray of Command on Heavy Ballista at some point. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work, but you'll have to figure something out. Just going to not play anything because Heavy Ballista kills all of our 2-2s anyway. So I think I take control of the ballista, block this, shoot, let damage resolve, and then kill the ballista with its own trigger. He's always going to be able to get it back, but that seems like a good play anyway. He's probably not going to take this, right? Okay. Suicidal ballista, and this triggers. Don't know if this was worth it, but this renewal would allow him to get back the ballista anyway, at any point basically. So I think this was a reasonable play. Okay, this block would have made me very happy, getting rid of the ballista. And he does play the cumulative upkeep guy. That's very interesting. Because it's going to be an 8-8, then a 6-6. It's possible that I just need to power sync that. But 8-8, then I block it, then it's a 6-6, then it's a 3-3. Yeah, I might actually be able to just take the damage. It does die rather quickly. course, with my waiting, I have basically told him that I have a power sink. Maybe that was pretty stupid. Just power sinking here and redeveloping my board can't be that bad. Especially because I didn't draw a land. I now only have a very weak power sink available. So if he drops the 4/4, I won't be able to counter it. And we do get to counter something. No. He just doesn't play it. That's unfortunate. Now we have 8 cards and would like to keep up power sync, but I don't really see how to do that. So what we could do is Phantom Wings the Ballista and just bounce it. Alternatively, just drop Cloud Elemental as a blocker. That sounds reasonable. I'm not that scared of the renewal now, in fact. The Ballista is the main problem, but I don't see a way to get around it yet. So if you had 5 lands, I could just drop Merfolk here to block again, but that's not an option, so let's try it like that. Yeah, overall, just power sinking immediately would have been the better choice, the better play. And I desperately need some lands and ways to develop my board further. What's that? Crash of Rhinos? No way. That's pretty insane. So I think we just have to bounce this. I was hoping to be able to bounce Heavy Ballista and get in for more damage that way, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And it's back. This feels quite surreal, having his 8 drop being a Crash of Rhinos and then power sinking it. But things aren't looking too bad. If you manage to draw the enchantment that pumps our guys, we might actually be able to attack for a little more than 2 at some point. So maybe it was in fact correct to wait on the power sink, but I think we were quite fortunate to find something to power sink that late in the game. And we just continue. Oh, come on. Target creature loses flying until end of turn. I think we just try something here by disallowing the Bull Elephant to block and pretending like we could do something to Cloud Elemental that would allow it to kill Heavy Ballista. Okay, he doesn't care at all. If you had a guided strike there, then he would have lost his Ballista, but I guess that he might even have the +0/+3 enchantment he had last time, so maybe we didn't have much of a choice there anyway. Considering how important the Ballista is for his defense, I was hoping that he wouldn't be willing to risk it, especially given that we just protection from the chosen color. Yeah, so we can make a pro-green creature, but his Crash of Rhinos is still going to be a problem. Now, if we block with the Serpent, we take 5 damage, trample, and he can reduce this damage with Heavy Ballista. So he can deal up to 7 damage trample, which means that we also need to block with the Scouts, for example. But that's not too bad. So I think we want the Serpent out there. And we probably also want it to be pro-green immediately. It's still quite likely that we are basically dead. But we still have a chance here. Yeah, as expected, he attacks with both. And now we have to see what's potentially going to happen. Now, this block seems like a very good idea because he isn't going to be able to kill the Serpent. However, this would deal, as I said, up to 7 damage to us. So we need to prevent at least 3, which means that the Scouts are going to be a good blocker for that. Now we have 7 defense. We will take 1 damage from this, 2 damage from this, and 3 from this, which means that we also need another creature to block. And that creature is just going to die, basically. So we could decide to just let our lions die, blocking this. It would actually be better to keep the 1/4 in play as a way to circumvent the ballista. I mean, the 2/2 and the 3/1 are probably going to be worse than that. So does this work? No. If we block with one of these, the Crash of Rhinos with one of these, we take too much damage. Yeah, we do take too much damage. We could do is block with both, but then he just kills all creatures but the serpent. That's not a good position to be in, I guess. Now the lion seems somewhat worse than the griffin if we ever want to start winning. I'm just going to block like this. Now it's crucial that he doesn't have anything here. And I would have liked to play around some kind of tricks, some kind of trick on his side, but I didn't see how. Okay, that was actually fine. I might actually want to get the scouts back at some point, if I happen to draw the griffin that gets back a creature. And the serpent is going to be able to get in for 1 damage at the cost of for 4 damage at the cost of an island. I'm just going to do it. If he wants to trade it for the ballista, I'm actually very happy about it. The serpent does have protection from green, so it's also quite valuable to me. But if I want to have any chance to win, I think I'm forced to play this aggressively. I hope that he has only lands, because if he has another Crash of Rhinos or something crazy, I'm not winning. Things are looking quite fine. I could try to get both of his planes here to make my serpent a bit better, but I don't feel confident enough to just attack with everything here. His ballista is still quite strong, so just going to continue with this plan. This is an insanely close game, so I think that anything could happen here. So flash creature, that doesn't do much. And he concedes. Well, he could have still... Well, I probably would have just attacked with everything next turn. So it's up to game 3, and these ballistas are really killing me. I think I do need the apathy, even though it seems like an awful game plan. So let's see. Anything else worked out quite fine. I think Memory Lapse could be really good because he plays all these 8-drops. But other than that, I don't know if paying 2 life to prevent the damage of Crash of Rhinos or something is actually what we want to be doing. Or non, well, playing to life, we have a card that allows us to do that. Righteous Aura, is it that? Yeah, I'm not keen on playing that card. Prismatic Circle could actually be better, but I also need a way to win, and winning seems kind of difficult. Also, what I don't like about Apathy um, on Ballista is that I really have the problem as long as the Ballista is untapped, and I can't force him to use it that often. So I might just want to keep it that way and put in another Parapet. That seems like a good choice against the Ballista, or the best card against the Ballista. So having one more of these and taking out one of the lesser creatures like Knight of the Mists. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Let's see if that works. We are on the draw for the final game. Our opponent is going first, and I'm just going to keep this. If you draw an island, we are live with the traders, and we do have Veteran and Parapet in hand. So I think it's perfectly reasonable to keep this. The perfect white curve in our deck, which could actually be putting up quite a bit of pressure immediately. Longbow Archer is kind of tough to block anyway. And we have a choice here. Parapet is not something we need immediately. On the other hand, we don't have anything we really want to discard to the traders. So I think at this point we are willing to discard Phantom Wings. And having another 1/2 in play is going to be good because it can attack with the help of the Veteran. Also, we really want to hit the 4th land drop. So I think that playing the traders at this point is good. I also like another traders better than Phantom Wings, I believe. Phantom Wings on the archers or something similar could also be very good. So maybe that's actually better. Yeah, Phantom Wings is a very versatile card. I like that. It bounces his very expensive cards, like also the Ballista, and we might make more out of that than the cycling, than another cycling effect. Especially now that we've drawn this. It's also great that we have him down to 14 already, and quite a nice hand to work with. Okay. Of course, bouncing Bull Elephant is also quite a nice tempo play. What we need to do here is to see how we can attack. How do we attack here? We basically have two options. Either we want our creatures to be large enough to get through, or we want to make one of them flying and just attack, continue attacking for 3. And maybe there's, well, there is certainly a lot of ways to go with this. For example, if we attack with the archer, what does he do? He doesn't really have a good block, and we can always use Ray of Command to take control of Heavy Ballista, for example, and that would allow us to kill Bull Elephant. Alternatively, we bounce the Bull Elephant, and yeah, that looks really good. If we bounce Bull Elephant and drop Parapet #1, we can attack with the archers, and he can't block it profitably. I think I like that best. And that gives us the option of using Ray of Command later. I also don't see him playing the Bull Elephant on turn 4. Or not turn 4, but next turn. Returning another 2 forests to his hand. Okay. I think I can still pump it, right? There isn't a card like Hornet Sting in this format. Maybe I should have responded by doing this. Like, if there was a card for 1 green that destroyed this in response or something, then I would have made a horrible mistake there. But I didn't. And he doesn't play anything, which can't be that bad. Now King Cheetah shouldn't do anything. We might just want this. I think it can't really hurt to have it. That's why we boarded it in anyway, so. It's going to take us quite a while to actually deal damage here. But both parapets should. Okay. So now he does have to have something. We'll see. I still don't know what he's trying to do here. We now have a... Okay, untapped target permanent, yeah. So... he's doing a good jobs with Emerald Charm. We have to give him that. Now, I think we just allow him to kill the Longbow Archers and replace it with Knight of the Mists, rather than wasting our Ray of Command without getting anything useful out of it. That seems better. I think we could have played this better once again. Oh no, we couldn't, because if we don't activate Infantry Veteran, then he doesn't have to use the Ballista at all. So let's try to get through with Knight of the Mist now. Which could pose difficult if he has the... Yeah, something like the Bull Elephant. Even though Bull Elephant isn't that bad, because we can still kill it. And now, what happens? If I use the Veteran, then he... Yeah, I need to use the Veteran, of course. He still gets to use the Ballista to great effect. So, overall, it doesn't seem like the parapets are good enough on their own. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have run that in there. because now I basically don't have anything on offense. Going to need to go to the air. That guided strike would have come in handy. Now if I attack with Merfolk Traders, he's just going to block with Wall of Roots, so no point. Doesn't have anything. That's also very interesting. I'm just going to wait a little bit. It's kind of nice to collect all these tricks and having both Power Sync and Ray of Command available. I really wouldn't mind another creature either. That's the turn where you can start. Regenerate enchanted creature. Okay, maybe we just give this protection from green at some point. The creature that doesn't do anything, but we are just going to play it. Our best bet is still to draw some creature with flying that he isn't going to be able to shoot. And that's why I'm not really concerned about the regeneration on Heavy Ballista. We managed to throw away most of our creatures unnecessarily, or because of his tricks anyway, so might have been better to just Phantom Wings one of our creatures early on, but I think Emerald Charm would still have gotten us pretty badly. And there's the first flyer. I'm really amazed that he didn't drop Crash of Rhinos yet. He has at least 2, I believe, and the 6 mana thing. Could be left with double white cards in his hand, but I can't remember any from last game. Kind of optimistic about our chances here. Doesn't seem like he has a lot of outs to my flyers once I have all my creatures get +0/+2. Which isn't necessarily worth 2 cards, but I think boarding in the second one worked out fine. Okay, that's interesting. Spider Climb gives this creature reach, basically. That's all it does. So I think yeah, I can play this on an opposing creature. So I'm going to give this guy protection from green. And I think there's no harm in doing it at end of turn. could have waited till my turn, and then it would have kept protection from green. And because he's the green deck, that wouldn't have given him an advantage. Rather, it would have most likely given him a disadvantage because he wouldn't be able to use additional spider climbs, for example. But he does have other creatures to use spider climb on, so don't think it's that big of a deal. And he does get back spider climb. That's fine. Okay, and he decides to go for heavy ballista this time. That's interesting. Oh, wait. It looks like he played spider climb in his draw step. That would just be absolutely awful for him, because then it would fall off. I mean, I have all the answers basically, but that just seems really okay. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. I also noted that I missed some damage with infantry veteran because I was more concerned about other stuff, but with this hand I wasn't really concerned about the development of the game. It looks like we're in the finals.